Okay, so it's final morning. Here I am. This is very nicely showing reflections of I got a big S next to my head, but here we are. Remember this time to put in proper talking, not in a strange voice of English person, but proper holy voice. Last time I come out of here, I kind of so overcome by situation I start to talk like British person for some strange reason. Anyway, I'm last morning because I'm going in 2 hours from now to get picked from here by taxi, taking back to airport. So got a little time and I want to go for a little walk. It's like this song. Let's go for little walk under the moon of love. Let's sit down and talk under the moon of love. Except it's not a moon today. Moon is on flag of Turkey. Happy Valentine's Day. Sevgililer. Gününüz kutlu olsun. Sevgililer. Sevgili. It's interesting. It's sevgili. It means like dear or darling. Sevgi is love. And if you want to add a li afterward, it is for example to say that something is full of something or possesses something or is like made of something or has something. For example, this is Mimar Sinan and he have the head with a maker from the aubergine. If you are American, you will know this as the eggplant. So patlıcan is an eggplant or an aubergine, and his head is eggplant possessing. So you will say it is patlıcanlı. Yeah? Other word like canlı on his own, like can is like a soul or like a life. So you have canlı music. It's li if you have like a soft or a li or a lu or a lu, because li and suffixes, if they got a li, is the basic one in the dictionary format. Then they can be li, like a in Russian, or they can be as I gave here. I gave my love a cherry which has no stones. Anyway, some people say agave, but that doesn't fit the rhyme. So, yeah, so you can have like sevgili with the basic dictionary li form, or you can have, what to miss my turning here for going for a walk, what I want to go for, what I chose looking on the map in the online earlier. Excuse. And you can have canlı is what it means, having a soul, having a life. It means live, like a live music, canlı music. You see this in many restaurants that they offering canlı music. So it is one of the li word you see quite a bit of, but all over the place you will see some ending in li. Even where you come from, you often end in li. Like you say, a person from America is Americali. So the word American also exists as an adjective, but it's for thing like dollar, like American dollar. But Americali is a person from America, an American person. And sevgili is like a darling person, like you just saw on that. It just goes to show how elements from different languages can suddenly appear as if by accident in other languages. So this li ending in the book of Turkish what I'm reading says complete coincidence that this is similar to the li ending in shapely, like shape gives you shapely in English. Well, you could believe it if of course it didn't reappear this form in so many other languages throughout the Indo-European way of doing things, but not only, is also in other like language groups that sometimes you see this L making either an adverb or an adjective. To speak in English, in Hungarian, is angolul, and the L there is giving you a manner of speaking, or the language in which you are speaking, an adjective, an adverb form, but still in L, and you have endings in lik and what have you, also appear in Hungarian, which some will say, okay, is like a Finno-Ugric group, and then you've got the Turkic group, and you can put them together with Altaic or Altaic group and say that in the end, okay, you got an Ostratic group, which is your Altaic plus your Indo-European. But you would find it very difficult to actually build up something which would be credible Nostratic. I know somebody, one I think is Russian guy, he tried to make like a 28 words or something, what he believes is Nostratic, and like make a kind of small poem in Nostratic, but it's completely artificial. He might as well have said that Esperanto is Nostratic, or make a kind of slightly more Turkish or Finnish biased version of Esperanto and say, look, it's Nostratic. There's no strategy involved in this, but basically, see, we come such a long way and only go little way. It is always interesting to pick up elements of one group of languages and then refine them again in a different group of languages. So if you have the question, are you this or are you that, in English, you might be surprised to go to Latvia and hear are yous at the beginning of the sentence, which begins are you, whatever, in English. And again, people will tell you, oh, it's just a coincidence. Fine, just a coincidence. And then later on people might say, okay, what you say about this? Just about anywhere you go in the world of languages, if it's Japanese, or if it's Chinese, or if it's Slavonic, or if it's Turkic, or if it's Greek, or if it's German, or if it's English, or whatever you like, you basically make in past tense according to one of three different models. These three different models come up in completely unrelated languages, but they still come up all over the place, and it's still only ever really one of three models. Adjectives the same. If it's not an L making them, it's usually an N making them or an I making them. But the three models for making the past tense of verbs is basically a D, which might change to a T underneath of various ease of pronunciation. Like you can't say meaned in English as easily as you can say meant, and so from English the D changed to T in those situations. In German anyway is a preference for T, so most of past tense is ending in T, but for the strong verbs is go to en. But anyway, German does with the ge beginning, which is part of reduplication, which is the third manner of doing. The third manner is reduplication of a prefix which Germans share to Greek and some other way of making the past tense in other languages around the world. But another way of doing, which even can be seen in so-called Indo-European group, is using the L form. Usually the L, like in Russian, to make the past tense with the L at the end. This is where you have aspect as being the more important thing rather than tense. Because also in Chinese you get L, which is the L form, and that is also an aspectival marker, as well as being the way in which tense is shown. So tense is shown using L, past tense is shown using L, but is also considered by grammarians to be aspectival marker, to show that something perfectly completed, and also used to make a command. Come here, Laila. Yeah, same in Russian. Пошел, пришел сюда, to make it like look the past tense, but it actually doesn't mean he went. If somebody says пошел вон, it doesn't mean necessarily he went away. It can also mean go away. Sonsuz, it means endless. Nur, light. Nur, probably light because it's the Persian word for light, isn't it? In the Persian language, Nur, from Kohi Nur, is the mountain of light. Ülker, something to do with countries. So, Turkish is an interesting gateway language because you got a very, very strong gateway between, obviously is a way for the European who uses Latin letters and Latin words to get into the group of languages what Turkish himself is a part of, like the Turkic languages I mentioned before, like obviously Azeri, Turkmen or Turkmenistani, and Kazakh from Kazakhstan, Uzbek or Uzbek from Uzbekistan, also Kyrgyz from Kyrgyzia. You got not Tajik because it's actually a type of Persian, like I said before, and one more what is continually on tip of tongue and I'm not remembering properly, but I probably need to draw the map down there so I always will remember. What I'm not remembering now. Okay, never mind, because there's 5 of them and one of the 5 is Persian based, the other 4 is Turkic based. So, and also Uyghur in the China is a living tribe speaking a form of the Turkic group of languages, and the difference between them for understanding purposes not so big as between, for example, the whole Proto-Indo-European area. So if you understand Turkish and want to learn one of these other languages, it will be like going between, let's say, going between Romanian and French, for example. Not like between German and French. It will be more like going from German to English, let us say, or from Bulgarian into Polish. So they almost like the Turkic family, though it put next to Indo-European on the tree is actually much closer together, because you know they were really one people at the time of Roman Empire, and the Latin family was one of last to disintegrate, Slavic after, Germanic before, in the European area. So certainly not like, for example, trying to compare Lithuanian with Albanian. This will be a bigger job than to compare even Uyghur furthest away with Turkish, as spoken here in Turkey. You get a big advantage by learning the biggest language in the pool, also because even these further away peoples, the biggest of them, the Uzbek, of course, they know that they are in a Turkish group, and they know that Turkey is like their big brother, and so if they want to watch TV, they can sometimes watch like a film from Turkey or learn music from Turkey because it's related to them. They can learn it not so difficult and have a bigger language to address the world with than just Uzbek. And so you can probably find, even though of course in Uzbekistan people do speak a lot of Russian, but among the younger people now is more a movement in the direction of reclaiming the Turkic side of things. So therefore you get a use of it, and you can of course, even by knowing some, to be able to understand some by just by reading and saying, I know this word, I know that word, that gives you already a different life. If you go to those countries in Central Asia for a visit, for example, to do business for a week or two, is a different experience. If you can address them in more personal way than if it was just a question of to speak with them in Russian.